this oil spill down in off the coast of Brazil happened back in November. What's going on now is that there's indications that the Brazilian government is going to file criminal charges against some officials, against some Chevron officials down in Brazil, who are now not being allowed to leave the country over this incident. So that's the next step in this whole saga.
Yeah. So now, I mean, obviously that has an impact on Chevron, right? I mean,
sure.
It's a big deal for Chevron. But what is it doing to the industry? What is it doing to some of the rivals that are also working?
Yeah, well, Brazil is a huge play right now for the industry, particularly offshore. I mean, there's just massive oil deposits, and everybody's sort of scrambling to get a piece of it. So I mean, really, what a lot of people are interpreting this as is it's kind of a Brazil sort of wagging its finger. I mean, this is really a relatively small oil spill. I mean, something like on the order of 1% of the size of the BP Gulf Coast
1% of the size.
1%, yeah. I mean, really quite a modest spill in the grand scheme of things, and you have criminal charges, coming just around the corner already. So it's a pretty strong signal.
It probably also speaks, does it not, to the structure of the Brazilian approach to this industry, in that Petrobras is the big elephant in the room, of course, and it is a state-owned company, albeit one that is publicly listed and therefore has private shareholders, and operates in a very a fairly transparent way, as opposed to, say, PDVSA of Venezuela and other state-owned oil companies. But there's always this ambiguity, right, between how much Brazil is managing its oil deposits as a kind of a state asset and how much it's actually trying to encourage growth.
Well, Petrobras is partly state-owned, and like in many emerging markets, I mean, you have to go through the state if you want a piece of the action. But you're right. I mean, Brazil enjoys much more friendly relations among outside oil companies and among Western nations than you're right, say Venezuela's state-owned industry does, and also, unlike Venezuela, Brazil isn't a member of OPEC, which kind of keeps some bridges open between say U.S. companies and Brazil as well.
Now, is there any sense that this might scare off companies from doing business in Brazil? Or is that's probably not?
Well, yeah, right? I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, people they know. I mean, other companies notice when these things happen, and things like sort of projects like oil development. I mean, very capital intensive. Takes a long time to bring this stuff to market, and you don't want to go into a country unless you have some reasonable sense that you can do business there, kind of in a fair and transparent way.
But with oil prices where they are, and the 2P field as enormous as it is, you really want to be in, right? I mean,
the payout is no doubt enormous if you can get your hands on oil right now. I mean, everyone's trying to bring oil to market, so it's still, there's still a major incentive to stay there. So no doubt about it.